Now we look at the general form of every quadratic equation. It's basically what? Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to what? 0. So this is the general form of every quadratic equation, where a happens to be the coefficient of x squared, b happens to be the coefficient of x, while c is what? The constant. Okay? Now another thing that we have to take note of, that's very essential, is that what? For us to identify if an equation is quadratic, or to know for sure that an equation is quadratic, the highest power of the variable is what? Has to be what? 2. What variable are we talking about here? What variable? What variable? No. What variable? The variable I'm talking about is what? X. Now in math we use letters of the alphabet to represent what? Variable. Letters of the alphabet represent variable. So the variable here we're talking about is what? X. So the highest power, once we have identified the highest power of the variable to be what? 2, automatically we can say that equation is what? Quadratic. Now we've talked about the different methods that we can use in solving quadratic equations. Who can remind me of some of the methods? Yes? Formula method. Somebody else? Completing the square method over there. Factorization method. Then the last one, graphical method. So there are 4 methods basically that we can employ to solve any quadratic equation. Now we've dealt with that. Now the next aspect, now the big aspect I want to deal with is how do we construct a quadratic equation? How do we form it? Now this is an example, a live example of a quadratic equation. X squared minus 5x plus 6 equal to 0. This is a live example of a quadratic equation. Now, how can we form this? No, the first part of this topic, we dealt with how to break up or how to get the roots or the values of a quadratic equation. Now, I want to move from, let's assume that we getting the roots or the values of a quadratic equation it's like moving from left to right. This time around, I want to move from what? Right to what? Left. I want to say how to what? Construct an equation that looks like this. I will call it what? A quadratic what? Equation. Now, I'm going to expose you to 2 different, not different actually, they are the same formula. They are the same formula, but you will get to know that these 2 formulas are the same. Okay? Let's write down this. To construct, right? To construct a quadratic equation, the formula to use is to have x squared minus alpha plus beta x plus alpha beta equal to what? 0. Where alpha and beta are the roots of the equation. Alpha plus beta sum of roots is equal to minus b over a. Alpha beta is equal to product of roots is equal to c all over what? A. Please, I would like you to box this formula. It's a formula that you need to keep in your mind. This formula. Whenever you are given the roots of a quadratic